Jill Abramson was in the news 4 years ago when the New York Times abruptly fired the only female executive editor in its history.
It's mighty strange from going one day from being an editor of stories to being the story. I'm a hard-charging editor, and I'm sure that there were some people who worked for me that didn't like that style.
Now, in a stunning rebuke, Abramson says the news pages of her former paper are unmistakably anti-Trump. I broke that story based on her forthcoming book, Merchants of Truth. And the president picked up on my report, tweeting yesterday about the Times. Ms. Abramson is 100% correct, horrible and totally dishonest reporting on almost everything they write. She quickly responded, saying her book shows that I revere NY Times and praise its tough coverage of you. But Abramson in her book writes that sometimes headlines and news analyses about the president contain raw opinion. She makes the same charge against the Washington Post. Abramson says, given its mostly liberal audience, there was an implicit financial reward for the Times running lots of Trump stories, almost all of them negative. And that is soaring traffic and a surge in digital subscriptions. But there's a larger cost. Quoting again, the more anti-Trump the Times was perceived to be, says Abramson, the more it was mistrusted for being biased. Yet the paper's younger staffers, the more woke staff, she says, are so alarmed by what they see as the dangers of Trump's presidency that they want to throw out the old journalistic standards. These are all her words. And after my story went viral, Abramson tried to back away from those words, telling Politico that I had quoted her out of context in an attempt to foxify the story. Absolutely untrue. I quoted her extensively, whole sentences, whole passages. I also wrote that she defended the Times in some ways, that she slammed the president's attacks on the Times, and then she offered both praise and criticism for her successor, Dean Baquet, who, as her number 2, played a role in the paper dumping her. Look, the book was news, and I would have covered it the same way no matter where I worked. Now, some may portray Abramson's criticism of the Times as sour grapes over the firing and over Baquet, but I haven't said that. In fact, I wrote that she was candid about her firing and her shortcomings as a manager. Abramson's words have weight precisely because she's not a Trump fan and because she ran the New York Times.